Today, I will continue my journey of turning games' difficulty dials as high as they go and answering the question only the wisest people ever ask. I mean, come on, how hard could it be? The LASO achievements are the hardest achievement in every Halo game, and some of the hardest achievements in all of gaming, but if Halo 2 didn't stop me, then nothing will. In Halo, LASO stands for Legendary All Skulls On. Legendary is of course the hardest difficulty in the game, and it is brutally difficult. Sorry, but we can do better. Skulls are modifiers that exponentially increase the difficulty even further beyond Legendary. And there are 13 of them. For reference, Legendary gives you a score multiplier of 4 times, while LASO gives you a score multiplier of over 17 times. Now I want to get right into the action, but don't worry, I'll explain the skulls as they become relevant, so let's go get that achievement. And look, it's only worth 30 gamer score, so I mean, how hard could it be?
The rings will kill us all.
So if you've been following the story so far, at the end of Halo 2, Master Chief went back to Earth and left Cortana on the Covenant ship city High Charity. Also, the Elite switched teams, but nobody told him that.
Chief, wait! You've got enough to worry about without you two trying to kill each other.
So the first thing I'm gonna do is kill the Arbiter, because he'll drop his carbine and I can just juggle it away from his body, and then he'll just go on without it and use the store the whole level. If you're keen, you may have already noticed some of the skull's effects. Blind and fog make it so that the HUD disappears completely. Nothing will be on the screen all game. Not my health, not my weapons, ammo, radar, not even my crosshairs. So I went ahead and cut out a sticky note and stuck it to my monitor so that you can see where I'm aiming. So this is what I'm looking at. The first major horde of enemies can actually be skipped by jumping up this rock and moving around the spawn trigger, which is pretty nice on LASO because all the enemies have increased health and upgraded ranks. In the forest, I can pick off the grunts from far away, while the Arbiter goes to town with the sword. A fun little thing about jackals in this game is that sometimes they start charging their plasma pistols at you, but if you stay far away, then they just keep charging it until it runs out of ammo. Like that. That's incredibly useful if I've taken any damage, because with Black Eye, my shields only regenerate when I melee an enemy, and a jackal with no ammo has literally no way to attack me. Oh, the close one. Nobody comment that the Arbiter is carrying me, okay? The tutorial video that I'm watching is carrying me. So far so good, I've gotten through the first couple encounters without a scratch. I'm feeling pretty good at this point. Surely it's not because it's only the first level. You know, maybe this might even be easy. This area's got a lot of enemies too, but I can get around them by running through the river. I'm not the only one that had this idea either. Getting out of the river on the other side requires a grenade jump, and grenade jumps are actually easier on LASO because cowbell makes the explosions send you further. After taking out some jackal snipers, I can use their beam rifles to clear out most of the next area before they drop off some reinforcements, and Sergeant Johnson got captured, so we gotta go rescue him. At last, the lights are too bright, and I don't see this jackal in the tree. And that's death number 1. The Iron Skull means that dying while playing solo restarts the whole level, but you can get around that because the game doesn't register your death immediately, so every time I die I just need to be sure to immediately pause and save and quit, otherwise I'll have to restart. The Arbiter and I split push the next section. He seems to be doing fine, but the brute finds me hiding. Next time around I catch him off guard and move into the final area, where we find Sergeant Johnson being held captive. Before we break him out, I scout the area. I take out as many enemies as I can from a distance before I move in, and by move in, I mean watch the Arbiter move in. He gets stuck in a corner, so I start trying to push him out, but these Hammer Chieftains might look intimidating, but they're actually really dumb. I make my way behind enemy lines and grab the hidden skull for the culture before I break into the holding cell Mission Impossible style and rescue Johnson.
This isn't as fun as it looks.
I bet the Arbiter wishes he had a carbine right about now. A Pelican shows up to rescue us, and we're out of here. I'm actually feeling pretty great at this point. I know it's only the first level, but in the first level of Halo 2 I died like 70 times, and my score rival is back to having negative 2 billion points, which is a very nice morale booster. Master Chief pretty much bailed on Halo 2, so he doesn't know how it ended, but he has a chance to redeem himself by stopping the Prophet of Truth from activating the Ark, which, you guessed it, will kill all life in the galaxy. Truth is the last prophet of the Covenant after Chief killed Regret and Truth killed Mercy. Actually, if we're splitting hairs, technically a Flood Balloon killed Mercy. But before we clear the base, Lord Hood makes sure to check the status of everybody's favorite color.
What's your status, son?
Green, sir.
Have you ever seen an NPC do a grenade jump before? Well, now you have. But these Marines prove to not be very much help at all. Plasma pistols are going to consistently be one of the best ways to deal with brutes due to tilt, which makes it basically impossible to break shields with human weapons, but plasma weapons are worse at taking down health. Clearing out the hangar will be tough since it's so wide open, but to start I can actually jump up and punch the back of the Phantom to get my shields back since it's technically an enemy. I managed to stick the final brute, which causes him to go berserk. While there's usually only a chance of that happening, it'll actually happen every time on LASO. The part with the buggers is easy because the Marines can handle it on their own, and the catch skull actually applies to friendlies too, can you tell?
Frag out! Take it! Alright, people, grenades out! Let's throw strikes! Frag out! Don't let up!
Miranda shows us her grand plan to stop the invasion, which is a giant bomb, but luckily I have a much better plan, which is to sneak up behind this hammer brute and steal his invincibility power-up so I can escape. Some attempts go better than others, but eventually I grab it and immediately use the invincibility and escape with the hammer. And I need the hammer for a little speedrun trick. If I push this grate up against the wall and hammer it just right, I'll zip across this big gap. Okay, you see the vision though, right? Now that took a lot of tries, but you'll notice the death counter didn't increase. That's because I didn't die, I just reloaded a checkpoint, which doesn't count because I made up the rules. Now there's a room full of jetpack brutes, but there's a really cool jump on the Pelican you can do if you're quick enough to get up to a safer spot.
This one won't go down so easy.
I try to drop my hammer on the ground for a little bit while I fight from range, but I accidentally dropped it out of the window. After many failed attempts, I finally noob combo all the brutes from my perch, and I find the last one cowering in a corner. Before I leave the crow's nest, I make sure to use the regenerator and grab an invisibility power-up that I'll need to rearm the bomb. The way back to the bomb is being guarded by a couple of jackal snipers, but I learned that you can shoot through the back of these drop shields with human weapons, which seems like something I should have known already. And then there's supposed to be this big fight to rearm the bomb, but I have that invisibility power-up and they're all watching their favorite show.
Have you discovered how they plan to stop me? Find what I need to know.
That did it, Chief. Bomb's armed.
We got your exit. A service elevator in the hangar.
And see, this is what I mean when I say it's a morale booster for my rival to have negative 2 billion points, because I got negative 12,000, but relatively that's pretty good.
Oh!
What happened?
I set off a huge bomb upstairs. The Marines forgive me and get in my Warthog. And this is basically the outline for the plans for this level.
Anybody see where that came from? This right here is why I side.
One of the grunts in the first area has a fuel rod cannon, which greatly increases the firepower of my Warthog, because when a Marine is holding a weapon, it doesn't run out of ammo. Besides, it'd be silly if I used it anyways, because the Famine Skull makes it so that weapons dropped by enemies have half ammo. In the next area, I might have gotten a bit overzealous. So I take it slow the second time, and then I got bored and went for it again. I borrow the fuel rod for a moment just to take out this shield, but eventually I arrive at a point where I can't take the Warthog any further. Is what I would say. I need it still so that I can splatter this brute and take his chopper. There's a despawn you can do for a lot of these enemies in the last section, but I'm feeling pretty cocky, and this is my third LASO game, so I don't need all the cheap tricks, okay? Well, eventually I do make it past all the vehicles, but they get me right as I'm jumping to cover. And I got this really awkward checkpoint that makes me a little bit nervous that I might just die on repeat. But I get to my safe spot and I complete the objective, and the mission couldn't have ended with a closer call. I also got the achievement for beating this mission without entering any vehicles, which isn't how I remember it going, but whatever, more gamer score for me. The storm picks up right where we left off, and we get to carry our guns over, which is good because of the fuel rod. Of course, I won't be the one using it. There's a bunch of aliens on the other side of this door, which is also where they hid the button to open the door because they thought I'd have to go over there, but actually you can just press the button through the wall and have the Marines go in first.
Trouble right here in River City.
I can just keep inching the Warthog up to get the fuel rod guy in a good position and sit back and use my battle rifle from afar. In the next section, I know right where the Wraith is going to drop, so I can hide in this box and beat it up immediately. I circle back to see if any of the Marines survived the last fight, and it's not looking good at first.
Keep going.
But look who decided to show up.
Let's go.
In the next room, there's a plasma turret chieftain, which are much trickier than the hammer ones. So after dying to the chieftain a bunch of times, Captain Fuel Rod tries to beat him in a fist fight. But I accidentally steal his thunder.
You know, I had it handled.
Going into the Scarab fight, they really want me to have a rocket guy on my mongoose, but I have a feeling that won't end well for me.
Got anti-air rates for the next lake benching. I'll drive. It's all yours. For your night. Come on. He's on. Grab onto something.
While I wait for the Scarab to spawn in, I try to help out with the sniper rifle, but I just end up accidentally dropping it over the edge again. Essentially, the plan is to stand out on this big crane arm so I can jump onto the Scarab and destroy it, but the Marines have other plans, so I take a friendly rocket between my shoulder blades. I found many other creative ways to die too, like getting stomped on. And whatever this is, it's like the opposite of getting stomped on. After many more failed attempts, I finally board the Scarab and destroy it.
Jump on top of the chief. Like this one boss.
Now, it is possible to skip this Scarab fight, but then this Pelican with the Arbiter on it doesn't show up, and I have plans for him. Pop quiz, what's better than the Arbiter with a sword?
What the hell did you do that for?
So yeah, the Arbiter pretty much just launches all the enemies into orbit for the rest of the level.
Let him run. Just keep coming.
This room looks like something I would have built in Forge when I was 9 years old. The Hunters don't stand a chance, but later I do notice a lack of rockets, and I find the Arbiter stuck behind a forklift, and I have to unstick him because he needs to distract the enemies while I jump out of the map. It might not look obvious, but you're not supposed to be able to do that, and that just lets me walk to the end without any more enemies. So then Truth goes through a big portal, and a big ship with the Flood on it crashes into Earth, which is really bad, I'm told. Killing my teammates in this game doesn't feel nearly as bad as it does in Halo 1 and 2 because he gets back up after. Floodgate is probably the easiest level in Halo 3 LASO. It's pretty much just running backwards through the previous level, and the Flood don't really do a very good job of trying to stop you. I make sure to pick up the gravity hammer in case I need it to get my shields back, but it really is as easy as it looks. I guess they were just in a plane crash, to be fair. After fighting the Flood in this hallway, you can see me look down at my shadow. Since the HUD is missing, that's one of the easiest ways to tell what weapon I'm holding. There's going to be 6 more weeks of winter.
I can see it crawling. sliding around beneath their skin.
Half-Draw drops some elite reinforcements for us, and I move up ahead and take out some carrier forms, but when I go back to check on them, it looks like they all already went on the Great Journey. And then I just walk past all the Flood at the end before I go into the Flood ship and find Cortana.
Chief.
Cortana?
Guilty Spark and Half-Draw find us and abduct us, but it turns out that Cortana just left a voicemail. She told us to go into the portal to the Ark to stop the Flood. And the Arbiter's already thinking what I'm thinking. And for the first time in the series, I actually beat a mission without dying.
This is the Ark?
We pull up on the Ark Revenge of the Sith style, and Chief grabs a fully loaded sniper rifle. I'm glad the last mission was easy, because I already know these next two missions are gonna get real bad real fast. They're also the two longest missions in the game, but I think they're some of the most fun, so I guess that's okay. I take out some sleeping grunts and take some shots on a large group of enemies from a weird angle, which should hopefully let me sneak past from a different angle. I die a few more times trying that, and eventually it works. Also, whoops, I didn't realize the death counter wasn't working, but later I go back and watch the recording and fix it. There's a group of grunts led by a brute that guard the tunnel that I need to go through, but on my second try I stick the brute, which makes him go berserk so I can get past. The next area has a crashed pelican with a rocket launcher that I can give to a marine to fight these prowlers for me. Because of the tilt skull, and all the other skulls, the sniper is terrible at taking down brute shields, but if I line up these two brutes just right, I can hit both of them. Guess how many sniper bullets that took? Wrong, it was 15. Anyway, as soon as I drive over this ridge, a bunch of enemies with vehicles spawn in, but that's why I brought backup. Moving into the next area, it's possible to skip a spawn trigger by using this ghost to go along the ridge wall. Unfortunately, after a few failed attempts, I fell off the wall and got a checkpoint, which means the despawn's not going to work anymore, and unintentional checkpoints can be really dangerous because there's a chance that you just get stuck in a death loop. Luckily, this was no such case, and I carefully cleared out the enemies I intended to despawn. I want you to know that I was fully shooting at this wraith for 2 minutes. Slowly but surely, I switch between the chopper and the ghost and clear out the landing zone so that the forward onto Don can pull up and give me a tank. I don't think the two anti-air wraiths would have really stood a chance. The Don probably could have just come up and smashed them, but whatever, I'm glad I have a tank, and you know what they say.
Tank beats everything!
The tank part was fine to play through, but it's probably not very much fun to watch. It's literally just... I also accidentally discovered that the Forge Ball is immune to Scorpion Fire. Once I've cleared my way to the wall, the Forge Ball breaks us in, and I let my team across the bridge so that they can all get killed by the Scarab on the other side. The Scarab fight is way easier than the first one though, because if you just shoot the legs with the Scorpion enough, it'll just pop a squat and you can get right on and destroy it. After the Scarab goes down, I borrow a chopper to get on top of the map so I don't have to fight my way up the ramp. And then a Pelican drops off the Arbiter just like the last Scarab fight.
Good to see you!
Well done, Spartan.
Forge Ball opens another door for us, and I beat down this brute taking a leak.
Kill them as they...
Chief, tap him out.
This is the most satisfying part of the whole game. But the next room was really hard because there's just so many brutes in such a small space. They're actually supposed to know that you're there right away, but luckily there's this funky spot you can stand in to make it so that the brute who opens the door can't see you. Must have been the wind. No way. Well, the three of us find a map to the Ark, and it turns out that Truth is gonna try to kill us all.
That's a first.
Not at all.
While we run away from the enemies that show up, I can punch this Banshee for shields before the Arbiter hijacks it.
I will help your sergeant clear the sky.
And then me and this Marine move inside for the next big fight.
What? There's more.
Yeah, that seems about right. Well, now it's really important before I go in there to make sure that I have the correct grenade equipped. Even though there's no HUD, selecting a different grenade actually makes a different noise. Here, just listen. The second time goes a lot better, mostly because one of the brutes throws down a power drain that breaks all of their own shields. I think the invisible brutes are some of the most fun enemies to fight in Halo 3. They think they're so sneaky, and they drop flame grenades. Before going into the boss battle, I make sure to grab the power drainer because there's a cool strat where you basically take all the brute shields down right away. Again, I unrightfully get the achievement for not entering a vehicle, and then we're off to kill the Prophet of Truth. And my rival must have known something that I didn't, because they did really well on this level. To get to Truth, the team needs to take out these 3 shield generators. The Master Chief will get the first one, the Arbiter the second, and Johnson will get the third. That seems like 3 equal teams to me. 2 Marines get out of the Pelican with me for the first battle after landing on the beach, which has a lot going on, but nothing is really stopping me from just walking out to the ocean as far away as possible and entirely ignoring it. I feel pretty bad for abandoning those Marines. There's no way they survive.
Beachhead secure, Commander.
Oh. As I come up this hill, I needed to be ready to headshot this grunt, but I forgot what weapon I was holding and I accidentally shined a laser pointer at him instead. I clear the way to the tower with the Spartan laser, and then I hop up and grab this power drainer and clear out the rest of the base of the tower. At the top of this elevator, the switch for the shield generator is guarded by a bunch of brutes. Luckily, the brutes have a really hard time figuring out this glass wall. I don't know who could have seen this coming, but I have to go help Johnson's team deactivate his tower.
We're reinforcements, man. We're pinned down.
And I've already got an escape plan. And I make sure to grab this invisibility on the way out before the Hornet section. So I guess this part is supposed to be pretty easy. I was just supposed to be able to fly past all these Banshees and Phantoms, but somehow that's not working. And this is what happened the one time that I was able to land.
Then get inside the tower.
So I changed my plan to doing what you're actually supposed to do, and that worked way better. So I meet up with the Arbiter to rescue Johnson, kill a swarm of buggers with a brute shot, and then I grenade jump to the upper floor. Sorry, it was supposed to look like this. And then I can go up the elevator to turn off the third tower, which is pretty much the same as the first tower, except it's the invisible fire guys this time. And the chieftain is a plasma turret chieftain, so to get close to him, I can use the tough luck skull. Throwing a grenade at him will always cause him to dive out of the way, which gives me time to get in and get a back smack. Right when I deactivate the shield, High Charity falls out of the sky.
By the gods, brace for impact.
And I die a couple of times trying to escape the commotion, but then I meet up with a little army outside. The tank part is pretty silly again, especially with cowbell on. I get out of the tank to grab a fuel rod cannon, and then Leadfoot almost runs me down.
Get your ass on up in here.
And then he just kind of drives off a cliff while I'm fighting this Wraith. Probably shouldn't have let that guy drive. Another Hornet means there must be a big fight coming up. But, I mean, we already fought a Scarab, what could be harder than that?
2 Scarabs! Repeat, 2 Scarabs!
Very creative. It takes forever to get the Scarabs to fall over, but right before they explode, there's enough time to get out and punch them for shields. Now it's time to stop Truth from firing the rings.
Prophet will die by my hands, not theirs.
Sounds good to me, let's go. To the chagrin of the Prophet, it turns out only a human can activate the Halo ring, so they try using Johnson. But Johnson's face isn't working, so...
Johnson!
Miranda is just in time to save Halo. All she has to do now is... And then the Flood offers to help Master Chief and the Arbiter stop the rings. Imagine showing this scene to someone who's only played Halo 1. Although the current situation does seem a bit time sensitive, there's actually no rush. I can just spend a lot of time lining up these fuel rod shots on the jetpack brutes and they won't move because I'm too far away. There's a lot of brutes and not a lot of ammo here, so I need to make sure every shot counts. We finally make it to the controls, the Arbiter strangles the Prophet like Bart Simpson, and the Master Chief turns off Halo, which of course means that the Flood are bad guys again. The easiest way to escape the Flood is hide and seek, because I don't have a shotgun right now, and when I come out after 3 minutes, they're all gone. Then the Arbiter gets a little bit too excited about hiding and jumps off the bridge, but when I go to look for him, he's not down there, because he's up here. Okay, what is happening? While the Arbiter and Chief watch the new Halo ring get born, it's Guilty Spark's turn to hide. And when they find him, they tell him that they do actually want to light the ring to kill the Flood.
Light it.
Then we are agreed.
Cortana?
Okay, now we only have to find Cortana, who has been hiding for nearly the length of an entire Halo game at this point. This mission's actually not too bad. It mostly consists of just running past enemies and maintaining my shields with the sword. Next time.
Mother Shadow.
Time has taught me patience.
Tell me about it. The big multi-story room has some pretty fun parkour and equipment strats to get to the top floor as fast as possible. And then the really big room is kind of confusing. Some of the enemies don't attack you in here. Some of them do though. Well anyways, after I cleared out all the mean ones, the chill ones let me set up my escape plan. So basically, there's a bunch of bubble shields and invisibility power-ups in this room, and I can just juggle them around and lay them out in such a way that when I have to escape later, it's all very convenient.
You found me. But so much of me is wrong.
I can fix her.
Got an escape plan?
It's actually funny you should ask. I have to immediately walk to the middle of the room because they didn't add sprinting yet and activate the reactor. Then I can jump up on top of the map to avoid most of the enemies while I shoot the reactor cores. And then I can jump down on top of the bubble shields that I left to protect my exit route.
We need to get to Halo. Destroy the flood once.
I saved an invisibility for this hallway, and then speedwalked to the end of the level where the Arbiter is rescuing me with a flamethrower, which is the coolest thing that anybody's ever done. Oh well, he barely got me on this mission, -50 to a billion, but I'm still cumulatively in the lead.
We'll make it.
Well, the first thing I need to do is get to the top of this tower, but there's nothing in the way. I can do a fuel rod jump for a little shortcut, and then I can do a slide jump to get up even higher, but I fail the slide jump like 9 or 10 times before I finally realize I can just do 2 fuel rod jumps instead, which is way easier. That lets me get out of bounds to Johnson, who has a very important glitch, just like the last mission of Halo 2. Basically, if you shoot him, he drops his Spartan laser, and then you just throw it off the edge and he spawns with a noose blazer that has infinite ammo. So then you shoot him again and keep that one. See, so that was supposed to be his blazer. Like this. So when I get the second one, I can give him the fuel rod, and now we both have infinite ammo. Then the upcoming boss fight takes your weapons away, so I have to make sure I juggle this blazer over to the door so I don't lose it.
No promises, but initial results indicate this facility should be ready to fire in just a few more days.
We don't have a few more days.
I have kept it safe. It belongs to me.
Not for long.
Kick his ass. Send me out with a bang.
So the ring is firing and self-destructing, and we need to escape. Arbiter will lead the way, and I'll provide laser support. I think this shot might have been a little bit close for his comfort the way he looks back at me. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for.
There! Johnson's Warthog.
And me. I've been looking forward to this too.
It's been an honor serving with you, John.
Now Lord Hood would like to say a few words for all those who attempted the Halo Trilogy LASO.
For us, the storm has passed. The war is over. But let us never forget those who journeyed into the howling dark and did not return. For their decision required courage beyond measure.
Alright, well, let's add Halo 3 to the tally. 135 more deaths brings the total to 651. Am I getting better, or are the games getting easier? Who's to say? And of course I have to follow up on my story promise. How hard could it be? Easiest 30 gamer score in my life. Unrelated fun fact, in Halo 3 for the Xbox 360, the achievement for beating the game on normal difficulty is worth 125 gamer score. So by that measure, this was 4 times easier than that. Huge shout out to the Halo Completionist on YouTube who made a great tutorial video for this challenge, and huge shout out to all my fans, especially you. Thanks for watching, and comment what game I should torture myself with next.